chances are you're not driving your dream sports car. But hey, guess what? Watch to the end of this video and I'm going to tell you 4 different ways you can drive the sports cars of your dream just like that. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so very first one, this is the simplest way of all. It won't cost you any money, but you do have to somewhat lower your expectations, and this may not work the first time you try it, but if you do keep at it and, you kind of just level your expectations a bit, you will be able to drive the sports car that you're looking for, and that is test drive. It's a very simple tool to use. Most people don't understand that a lot of dealerships are out here to help you. Of course, they want to make their sales, but not every salesman is out here just to scam you or try to take all your money. But guys, please do keep in mind, if you do try this out, make sure that you make it very clear to the salesman that you are currently not in the market to buy. The only way that I could see this for working for you guys is you have to go to a dealership of the sports car that you want to buy, or I'm sorry, that you want to test drive, on a day where they're going to be a little bit slower, maybe not as many customers, to kind of increase your chances of being able to drive the car. My recommendation would be Tuesdays around noon is generally going to be their slowest time. That's when most people are working. Not many people are out buying cars on Tuesdays at, in the afternoon. So I would definitely go out on one of those days. Just do keep in mind, this probably isn't going to work at a Lamborghini dealership, so I wouldn't even try it. And also do keep in mind, you're going to want to dress presentably. Now, this is one of those things where you're probably going to have to be over the age of 21 to be able to pull this off successfully. Although there are some dealerships that will allow you to test drive as long as you have a license and you're over the age of 18. Now, I hear you. You want to drive cars. You don't want to go through the social experience of having to go out to different dealerships and ask to test drive their cars. I have another solution for you. That is, go into your app store, whether you have an iPhone or an Android, and download the app called Turo. Now, I know, this one does cost money, but unlike the other methods that we have listed here in this list, this will actually let you drive the car you want for either the entire day or multiple days. This is something that I frequently do so that I can go ahead and try out different cars if I ever want to have a slightly different experience than just driving around in my Civic. But do keep in mind that these are other people's cars. So you can't, trash them. You can't really be super aggressive in them because you'd essentially be damaging someone else's car, and you can be held liable for that. Now, for this to work, you do have to be over the age of 21 and have a valid license. I think it's fair to say that for all of these things that I'm going to suggest today, you have to have a valid license. But for this one, I believe you do have to be over the age of 21. And again, it'll cost money. It'll cost between $50 to $150 depending on the car that you're trying to borrow, and depending for the amount of time that you want to borrow the car for. But do keep in mind, guys, that this is, again, someone else's car. You do have to be insured, and you do have to have a valid license. Guys, and quick disclaimer, I am not at all associated with Turo. I am not sponsored by Turo, but I do have a link. So down below, if you use that link, I get a kickback, you get a kickback, we all win. So I would definitely, if you do want to try it out, it would help me out a ton if you guys do use that link below. You guys support the channel, or you guys support the companies that support the channel, and, I can put out more content for you guys. But yes, just so that you know, I am not affiliated with Turo. They didn't reach out to me. I didn't reach out to them. This is not a sponsored video. Now, number 3, this is something that I recently did, and I will post a video up shortly of my review of this experience, but TLDR, I loved it. It was a great experience, and what am I talking about? This is the supercar racing experiences. So I personally went to Speed Vegas, that is in Las Vegas, Nevada, where you can basically pay a set amount and you get to drive around in a supercar around a track. So it's a closed track. You get to go as fast as you want. You have a coach right next to you who's basically telling you the ins and outs of the track, the ins and outs of the car, so that you can actually maximize your potential with that car. It is an absolutely amazing experience. Again, with this one, guys, I am not at all sponsored by them, but it's just something that I really, really did enjoy, and I feel like you guys will enjoy as well. So I would definitely give it a try. Like I said, I went to Speed Vegas. I would look up to your local area where there might be a racetrack that rents out cars. I do not recommend places like exotic car rentals where you essentially can rent it to ride around in the streets. And the reasoning for that is, I'm not sure if you guys have watched my previous video, the one where I talk about where you shouldn't buy a sports car. That will be linked right up there. You're not going to get to use it and enjoy it very much. If you just want it for the attention, then sure, rent it, take some pictures, take some videos, drive around, enjoy all of the eyes and cameras pointing at you, but you can't really, ride around it fast. So if you want to drive fast, if you want to, pick the car that you want to drive and really enjoy it for less than it will cost you to rent one for a day, go to one of these exotic speed, track places where you can rent out these cars. Again, the place I went to was called Speed Vegas. Not affiliated at all, but I did enjoy my time there very much. Something to keep in mind with these places is you do not have to be 21. You only have to be 18 years old with a valid license. So if you're 18 and you have a license and you want to go drive around in a Lamborghini as fast as possible, my recommendation to you, go to one of these places. Have have your parents buy it for you. They can get a little bit pricey. Personally, for me, it cost around the $500 mark, but it was 100% worth it. So much so that I ended up paying twice so that I could have my girlfriend do the same, and she enjoyed it. So I would definitely try that out, guys. It's something I really appreciate it, and I know you will too. And finally, the last way to drive the sports cars that you guys have always wanted to drive but haven't been able to. I really only recommend this if you're young, if you're about anywhere between 18 to 21, you're fresh out of high school, you're maybe in college, and the best I could recommend for you is get a job at a dealership. And I know not everyone's gonna be able to do this, but especially if you're young, if you need a part-time job, this can actually make you some money and you can drive the cars that you want to drive. For example, I actually worked for a used car dealership, CarMax to be specific. I don't really want to talk about my experience working there. Just briefly, I did enjoy it. It was fun, especially getting to drive those different cars. So I got to drive everything from some of the best cars out there, like the Honda Civics, and also got to drive some, Corvettes, some Porsches, some Subaru WRXs, BRZs. Pretty much every sports car that you can buy used, they're going to have it there, and I got to drive them all, and it was a great experience. It teaches you a lot about driving in super small, tight areas, because their parking lots are pretty much super tight always. But you also get to see what different cars are like. I also got to drive big trucks, and I kind of got used to driving all sorts of different types of cars. So I really recommend this if you're young, you need to make some money, and you enjoyed working around cars. Do keep in mind, this is not all fun and games. At the end of the day, it is still a job, but it's pretty cool to have a job where you're working around things that you really enjoy if you are a car enthusiast. So that's my fourth recommendation, and that's pretty much it. Again, guys, if you have not seen the previous video as to why you should not buy a supercar, link will be right there and also in the description. If you guys are curious into what I'm using to record all my videos, affiliate links to Amazon are all in the description as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. YouTube actually thinks you should watch that video, so click on that. You'll probably like it. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.